What up, YouTube? Seymour L6. We would to wrap this one up. This is part 4, I believe. So we're here, and finish this interview up. Like, subscribe to your boy, and let me know anything else you got, interviews or any other songs that NF got going. And is he working on any music right now? Like, do we know anything? So let me know what's up. What's happening?
Like songs come together and like just learning, and eventually it just brought me here. So
did you like your voice in the beginning? Because it's always weird when you hear your...
Weird, yeah. People would ask me that. They'd be like, is it weird, like, hearing yourself? But now it's not as weird. It's not, like, weird for me to hear myself at all. What is weird...
That's one thing I don't like. I hate hearing myself sometimes.
Is hearing myself in, like, interviews. Hearing myself talk. Yeah. Like, that's kind of weird.
Did you watch your...
Well, it's because I don't sit and watch myself talk ever. So it's just like when you started doing music, you don't usually hear. I don't just walk around like rapping to everyone. You know what I mean? So it's like when you first start recording, it's kind of weird to hear yourself. But that's what I'm saying. Like interviews for me, it'd be like the opposite for you. You're probably used to, if you ever watch your interviews, hearing yourself talk now.
Yeah. Also because of editing and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But if you like started singing and heard yourself singing, you'd be like, oh, this sounds kind of weird. So I think you get used to it as you... It's just like people are uncomfortable. Like when I first started shooting music videos, I was super uncomfortable in front of the camera. But now it's become like more natural, where it's like I know what's going to look better because I'm involved in the editing as well. So sometimes something that looks stupid while you're recording, you know it's going to look better the more dramatic you are while recording it, so you just do it.
Leave me alone. I went from nobody to kinda famous. Also weird because of the kinda. It's like...
Well, I don't consider myself massive. Like a massive artist, I guess. That's why I said that. I just don't. I think I'm like an artist that can sell a lot of tickets and drop albums and have a lot of sales, but I think a lot of people are still unaware about me. It's just how it is.
You had the #1 album. You sold, but
you went into a restaurant in most cities in the States and said, hey, have you ever heard of NF? I bet you most people would not know who you were talking about.
I bet that's true.
Yeah.
Like, who's
just interesting. They might know a song I did.
Is he the one that did that?
They might be like, oh, that's that guy. Okay. You know. But I do have this following that follows me like very closely. That's why I'm able to do what I do. So Kinda Famous was more me being like, I'm not the biggest artist that there is, but I went from being nobody really to like dipping into that world, I guess, is what that line means.
Wow. I get what you mean, though. I can see what you mean. Yeah.
It's like I'm just saying there's like artists way bigger than me is what I'm kind of saying. Yeah. But like
they're not even close to your sales, though, which is crazy, actually. Yeah. But shout out to your fans for that. Okay. Hide my plaques inside the closet. I just can't explain it. Why would you do that? You don't want to see...
I don't know the exact reason. I think sometimes I just feel weird about having things hanging up that I did. I don't know the exact reason for that. My wife ended up hanging up those plaques, though, so that was dope that she did that, yeah. I don't know exactly. Just, I don't know if it's because it made me feel... They just remind me of, like, am I going to be able to do better than that?
Oh, that's from where you're coming from.
Ooh.
I don't know exactly. I just was like, I think I have a lot.
Ooh, that was nice. That was nice. That's it, man. I gotta hear that again. I like that.
Me of like, am I gonna be able to do better than that?
Oh, that's from where you're coming from.
I don't know. That's a bar. That's a bar. Man, like, see how I like how he thinks. Man.
No, exactly. I just was like, I think I have a lot of self-hatred or feeling like I'm not good enough or whatever, so maybe I just feel weird hanging up. Look what I did, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I don't know. But my wife hung them up, and they look awesome at her house, and so, yeah.
Okay, but now when you walk past them, you're like, yeah, look at what I did. Or there you're still, like, uncomfortable, like, please put them back in the closet.
No, actually, I don't feel that weird about it now, so that's why I'm glad she did it. I won't go, like, too in detail, but, like, there's so many different kinds of OCD, and a lot of people just think it means, like, you have to wash your hands 20 times before you do something. It's like that. I do have some of this rituals like that where if I don't wash my...
Do anybody got OCD? I have OCD. I think it's not too bad. It just, when I'm, like, cleaning up or anything, I have to make sure everything is, like, every little piece of trash. Like if I'm vacuuming and pick up all of it, right, I have to get down on my knees and, like, pick up every single thing and get up, make sure everything's out. I can't stop until it's over. I don't know. Like, what's you guys? You guys got anything like that? But let's see what NF got.
Hands, I'll, like, get anxiety about something weird or whatever. But for me, it was like, an example would be like my clothes. If I wear different clothes, sometimes I get anxiety. Or, like, there was a point on tour when it was like, if I didn't wear a certain pair of socks, I would convince myself that I was going to, like, mess up on stage. Just weird things like that. And so if I didn't do this thing, then my brain would just keep thinking about what was going to happen because I didn't do it. So, like, I would have a pair of socks on and I would have to go change my socks because it's almost like an extreme. There's way more things than that are way more draining. But yeah, that was like one thing where I was constantly I was obsessing about making a mistake or messing up.
Hey, baby.
You guys can fast forward this.
But what I tell you about looking proper at my dinner?
If I were to, like one time I'd be at Whole Foods and I'd tell my wife, hey, we're going to leave here. I'll call you later. And then we end up being like, hey, let's just eat here instead of going back. It would be easier to eat here. My brain would, like, start freaking out and I'd have to tell her, hey, I told you we were leaving, but we didn't actually leave. And I would be, like, guilting myself that I, like, told her that. It's very confusing and sounds very weird, but it was just, like, an insane experience that I started experiencing where just like the performing thing, I would just convince myself of things in my head and then I couldn't stop thinking about them. Or, like, I had to, like, talk about it or I had to do it. I had to change my socks because if I didn't...
You would, in your head, you would mess up. You would...
Like, once I started going to therapy, one of the things I was supposed to do was, like, change my clothes or, like, wear a shirt that I didn't feel comfortable wearing. And it sounds so weird because most people just put the shirt on. But for me, I, like, almost, like, broke down crying because I was so uncomfortable. And I found out, for me, I think it comes back to, like, control. Okay. If I feel like I'm being...
forced to...
Yes,
put in a situation.
Yes, if I feel like someone's forcing me to do something, I become extremely, like, on edge. You know, but if I had to wear that...
Somebody playing music? Oh, man. Hold on, you guys. All right, we're back. It was like a interesting Amazon truck bumping some music. Like, come on now. Like, deliver your package, though. Over there bumping music and stuff. Like, I'll tell you, boy.
Didn't feel comfortable wearing. And it sounds so weird because most people just put the shirt on. But for me, I, like, almost, like, broke down crying because I was so uncomfortable. And I found out, for me, I think it comes back to, like, control. Okay. If I feel like I'm being...
forced to...
Yes,
put in a situation.
Yes, if I feel like someone's forcing me to do something, I become extremely, like, on edge. You know, but if I had to wear that... a good example is for when I grow up. I wasn't comfortable wearing that shirt in the fast food spot. I don't know if you saw the video, but I was able to do it without getting anxiety, really, because I was doing it for a video, And so I don't know. It's like a very confusing thing. But when I had to put on this shirt when I was in therapy and wear it to my house, like I wasn't even really going anywhere in it, I got extremely like emotional and felt like way on edge and really anxious. So it's like a weird thing that I started seeing an OCD therapist and just like talking through it. I think it's something that a lot of artists and people experience, but
They don't know about it? They don't know how to do, or they just...
may not know about it because when most people think of OCD, like I said, you think...
The cliche. Oh,
Yes, you think...
hand sanitizer.
Yeah. And those things are very real because it can jump all around to those things. But then some people just have stuff that's like in their head that they're constantly like their brain just keeps spinning, and that happens to me. So I didn't know what it was. And you don't always just have it your whole life. Like some people, it hits them later. And so that's the best thing that helped me was finding out that I had it. Because then I was like, oh, so this is why this is happening, and not like, you can convince yourself like you're an insane person. And I think there's a lot of people that deal with it. But it's kind of an embarrassing thing to talk about because if you don't experience it, you don't like understand what it's like. So then it's like kind of confusing. Like you just be like, well, why didn't you just stop thinking about it?
Well, that's also a very, like, simple and ignorant way to think about something.
It'd be like this. If I told you to walk into a room, right? And I'm like, hey, walk into that room. But when you walk in that room, don't think about the walls in the room.
Yeah. Okay.
Your brain naturally is going to think about the walls. And even if you're thinking about not thinking about the walls, you're thinking about the walls. Yeah. And so sometimes with my OCD or whatever, that's what happens to me. Where like you're thinking something and then you're thinking about not thinking about it. And the more you try to not think about something, the more your brain thinks about something. And so that's when you can start to like that same song, Leave Me Alone. Yeah. That's where you like obsessively could start to think. It could be anything. It could be health related. Okay. You could think
that's smart.
You're sick all the time. You could think every time you see something on, you're like, what if I have this? What is it? You know what I mean?
God, Google did not help that, by the way.
And that's the thing. A lot of people, it can be a normal experience that a lot of people have. If you had a bump on your arm, you're going to Google it and you're probably going to freak out.
Yeah.
But for some people, that one's not as bad like a thing for me. But that's just one that some people might relate to. So.
Well, I have to say, this was a very insightful conversation. I feel like I learned a lot about you and OCD, correct? Yeah. And thank you for being so open with me and having this conversation. Is there anything you would like to tell your German, because I'm sorry, he was making signs for us to wrap up. Is there anything you would like to tell your German community and fans?
I would just say...
Should I teach you some German, maybe?
What?
Should I teach you some German, maybe?
I'm terrible at it. It'd take you forever. I would just say thank you to everyone who supported the music and followed me this far.
Well, we'll be here to come to one of your tour dates. That's going to be awesome.
Sweet.
And thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Shoot. That was super awesome. Awesome video, man. We got through it. Episode 4. Part 4, man, I hope you guys like it, man. I learned a lot, man. Man, that's crazy because if you go in a room, if you go anywhere, hey, whatever you do not think about the wall. Like, you're going to think about that now. Like, so you shouldn't tell me that, like, but I understand the concept you were saying. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely tell somebody, hey, go in the car, but do not think about the seatbelt. Dude, like, what the fuck? Like and subscribe, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, man.